Okay, everyone, you are welcome again as we look into lesson number 5, and we'll be talking about extra confirmation. Extra confirmation on lesson number 5, based on our strategy, our two-step strategy, which is, the first one is confirmation strategy or continuation, okay, Coco, and then the second strategy is all about reversal. And these two work together to give us a very good trade that has the high probability of playing to our our direction. Now, what do I mean by extra confirmation? This is the usual chart we want, whereby we see on the monthly time frame or weekly time frame. In this scenario, we are going to be using the week time frame, which is price is making lower low, higher high. Price has made a low here, then price came to this point to take out this previous week high point, which we can call previous week high sweep. All right, that's we observe this type of setting on the weekly time frame. What do? We expect to come down to the daily time frame and look for this type of pattern, whereby this candlestick movement, this is the usual week low. From this week low here, then on the daily time frame, we want to see our candlestick formation, our candlestick entry formation. If we see it, we have to set our direct entry here. Well, what I mean by direct entry is also a sell limit or a buy limit. We have to set our entry, and then we expect price to come into this range and take out this previous week low, right? That is how we have been trading these two strategies, from top to down, monthly, weekly, and daily. Because the weekly is expected to sell after taking out the previous high, then we come to the daily, we look for our candlestick formation. If we see it, we set our trade here, expect price to tag into the trade, and then continue to sell, either looking for our 1 to 3, or we just expect price to take out this week low. All right, now that is our usual trade you have been trading. Second scenario that might happen is this, and I will show you us on the range chart this type of example. Now, second scenario that might happen is on the weekly time frame. Usually we have seen that price has taken out the previous week high. What we want is for price to come down on the daily time frame, give us a candlestick formation, and then we can enter the trade and continue to sell, looking for our 1 to 3, or we take out this previous week low. Now, what could happen? Okay, because a lot of things can happen in the market. What could happen is this: if we come to our daily time frame, we might see that after price has given us all this type of formation, we observe that on the daily time frame, our candlestick formation is there. We set our sell limit in this place, but the price did not tag us along. It just, after giving us our candlestick formation, price came and take out this previous week low. After price has taken out the previous week low, without tagging us along, even when we have seen our candlestick formation there, what do? This trade is no longer valid. This particular zone is no longer valid. The only time it will be valid is after price has taken out this previous week low, then price came, that's on the daily time frame. Now we are still on the daily time frame. Price now came into that zone that did not tag along before it took out this previous week low. We are not going to enter this trade directly. Okay, any entry we have here already, when this low point has been taken out, the previous week low has been taken out, we have to cancel this trade. Then we'll be expecting price to come into it. If price now come into this zone, the demand zone or supply zone, as the case may be, in this scenario, that's the supply zone because this is sell trade. We also have the buy trade. All right, so if price come into this daily zone after it has already taken out the previous week low, we are not going to enter the trade directly. What we expect in this part is what we call extra confirmation. That is now where our first strategy 1, come into play: extra confirmation and continuation. So we now expect our candlestick formation that the candlestick formation we now want is that after price tap into that demand zone, supply zone, we want another candlestick formation. It is now the second leg of the candlestick formation that we can now enter this trade, expect price to come into it and continue to sell to make another weak low. And you know that once price took out this weak low, meaning that this up point now will now form another weak high point. I hope this is very clear. It's simple and straight to the point. Now let's see what that could be on the real chart. We'll be looking at JA 40. All right. Now from the monthly time frame, we already know that this was previous month high, previous month low. So in this range, we expect price to give us a reversal trade. All right. Let me put it here. Previous month high. Previous month high. This previous month low. So this period now will go to the weekly time frame. Then we can see that on the weekly time frame, all we expect. Let's have a bar replay. Now we see that after price has taken out the previous high point on the weekly week has not taken out the previous week high, and on the weekly we already have our type of candlestick formation. You can see that where price has already taken out the previous week, the previous week high, week 1 high, week 2, and then week 3. Now the candlestick formation is below the low of week 2. You can see that very clearly, right? Then this already, if we are to enter trade on the monthly, on the weekly, in corresponding to the monthly, this will be a trade of, this is 1.4 trade, of which we can look for a trade of 1 to 30. But you can see that it's very, on the weekly time frame, is very large. So that is one of the reasons I don't usually enter trade on the weekly, except for stock market. Now, when we have this formation, what do? We are going to go to the corresponding corresponding daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, what can we see here? We can see that this was what we call an AA setup. I will make a video on that about looking for an AA setup. Okay, this from the monthly to the weekly, then to the daily. We can now see on the daily time frame that we now have what? We have our perfect candlestick formation. This is just so perfect. We candlestick 1 taken out by candlestick 2, then candlestick 3 close below the low of candlestick 2 and the low of candlestick 1. This is our day supply zone. All right, this is our day supply zone, whereby we want the candlestick as price to come into that zone. We can look for our 1 to 3. All right, or this 1 to 3, or we can also look for price to take out this previous month low. That is also a previous week low, and this trade would have given us 1 to 5.49. Now let's see what happened on this trade. Let me play it. You see what happened on this trade? We have a miss. Price did not tag us along into this trade. It just missed out by some inch. And you see this trade, I was having this trade, I entered this trade, but it did not tag me along before we have not taken out the previous month low. In this scenario where we have taken out the previous month low, I have already cancelled this trade. It's no longer valid for me, but I still leave the supply zone there. Okay, now that I left the supply zone, I'm expecting that when price return, because this trade is still a set trade, because month is selling, week is selling, and also the day have to sell. So I'm expecting price to come, probably tag into this day zone, give me my candlestick formation as a confirmation this time around before I will now enter another trade and expect price to come downward and take out the new weekly or monthly low. I hope you understand. So right now, this particular zone over here is no longer valid for me. The only time it can be valid again is when price come up, tap into it, give me our candlestick formation. I can now enter the trade this time and then continue to sell. But right now, this supply zone is no longer valid. If I enter this, if I still leave it and price come without giving me candlestick formation, it can just come down a little and then take me out, and then you see that the market will be going upward. So that is all there is for today's lesson on extra confirmation. I hope you learn, practice all these things. You can also do back test. Like I told you already, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily candlestick, they are all free to back test on TradingView. So you can back test any type of market and check out for these strategies, and you see that it will help you to build your confidence and trade with profit by having more profit. All right, bye for now.